should anybody be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello.
And Peyton Manning takes the knee for the third straight time, and that should do it, folks. The final score of Super Bowl 41, the Colts 29, the Bears 17, and look at the pandemonium from the Indianapolis sideline down here in Miami. Colts spilling onto the field. Oh, and there we go, the Gatorade bath for Coach Tony Dungy, and it's Mike Doss supplying the Gatorade bath. Good to hear from Mike Doss tonight as the Colts are your Super Bowl 41 champions.
Straight up. Cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, 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 cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in. Brilliant!
I always loved that one.
Objects in your mirror may be closer than they appear.
Huh?
Enjoy the season.
You just have to draw your own conclusions, people.
Mark, they can't pitch. They can't hit. What is with, I mean, come on.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the North. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
As Kevin Harlan has said before, buckle up. I've just seen man fly. It's going to be a fast-paced, action-packed common man program today. The Nuggets, for the first time in 47-year history, or 43, however many years they've been around, they're headed to the NBA Finals. Could be joined tonight by Jimmy We Didn't Need 'Em Buckets and the Miami Heat. Again, they're starting to struggle. Are we seeing a June swoon in May? Vikings continue 11-on-11. I think they are. Over at TCO Performance Center, the new Winter Park. And, of course, we've got plenty of others. I don't have anything else. So why don't we spin the wheel of topic and find out where we should start today?
Wheel of Topics!
Commons Golf Game.
What did you shoot today?
I didn't play today. I have no game. I'm physically a wreck. Yesterday, I played at Stone Ridge, and halfway through the Grum yesterday, I kept it to myself on the air, tend to be. My elbow started to flare up again. All of a sudden, tremendous pain in my right elbow. That golfer's elbow set in, right? To the point where, and I'm supposed to play golf. It's a new thing. This was going to be the second Monday evening where baby brother Peter and two of his pals, XD, made a repeat appearance. And for the first time ever, Joe Scoggins, the son of Chip Scoggins.
Really?
Chip Scoggins, Fish Wrap Factory West Side, esteemed columnist. We text and talk more than most people know. Those three, Joe Scoggins, XD, and baby brother Peter, playing me in match play. Not stroke play, but match play, right? So 3 against 1. The first time we played a week ago yesterday, I destroyed him. We played 11 holes. We played 1 through 11 at the Wick. And I think we halved 2 holes, and I won the other 9. Yesterday.
Are they just taking the best score of the three of them on each hole?
They're playing a scramble. No, they're playing a scramble.
Oh, they're playing a scramble.
They're actually playing a scramble. Yeah, well, because they're just awful. They have a lot of trouble. It's ugly golf. They make you look like Brooks Koepka. Okay. But when there's three guys, they do okay. Well, so anyway.
Sure, one. Yeah, it just takes one.
By the time I get to the third hole, my elbow is so bad I can barely even make a full swing. I'm wincing in pain, right? So I'm taking like 3. If it's an 8-iron, I'm taking my pitchfork. My 5-iron, right? I'm just hitting that. Well, then because I overcompensate on a drive on 4, I twist and strain my neck. No! Now I can't even turn my head. I'm like, you remember the superstar Mike Morris?
Yes.
He had that big, thick, muscular neck where, like, if you were standing to his left or his right, and you said, "Hey, what a Morris!" and if he was to look at you, he'd have to turn his entire body, right? Because he can't. His neck is and head is so big, he can't turn his head. What a Morris! So I have to I can't take a look to the right at all. But I can't quit because I'm not going to withdraw due to injury because that's a loss, right? Because I never wanted to lose to you in golf, which you finally did break that streak. Remember, how many rounds do you think we'd played before you bested me at North Oaks?
Oh, hundreds?
Hundreds? And finally, you bested me at North Oaks. Now I think you could beat me on a regular basis. Your game you're much improved, and my game has declined over the years. But nevertheless, I'm not going to withdraw. And it got so bad, I'm on 8, and I had to hit a driver on the par 3 6th because I got to clear the water. It's a 167-yard shot, and I have to hit driver because I can't. My elbow is so bad I can't lift it over my head, right? So I get it just on the fringe. I win that hole. We get to 8. We're tied. And I block my drive as best I can. I clear everything anyway. But I have to hit a 5-iron rather than an 8 again. And I'm trying to hit it so hard, I hook it in. I should have just punched it down below, threw it up, right? Because they're not going to make many pars, right? I end up hitting it in the bunker. They win. They're up 1 with 1 hole to go. I hit a 3-foot bogey putt for a 6. They're putting par. They're using Pete's shot. He went long on the fringe. One of them might even have been Pete, either Pete or XD. They lag it down to 3 feet.
Nice. They
have 3 of them a chance for a 3-footer to have the hole and win by 1. They all 3 missed it, and all the same. They didn't learn from each other. It was a left to right break, a slight one, and they all missed the putt the exact same way.
Who had the third putt? Who's the anchor?
Baby Brother Peter.
Oh no.
Yeah, he anchored away, me boy. So I didn't win, but I'm undefeated.
You're unbeaten.
I'm unbeaten, but I was so bad. And then what's amazing, I wake up in the morning, elbow pain completely gone, neck pain is gone. I just got to see your guy, Dr. Brody, guy, and my guy. He even asked me, is Tenenby standing up during the show sometimes? I go, yeah, he does that all the time. He goes, that's what I told him to do. That's what I have to do now for my back now. I have to stand, plus I have to do elbow stretches constantly.
Yeah.
I'm at the age where it's over for me. I used to be able to get up. I could do any athletic activity, and I never had to stretch. I'd walk up to the tee box, stick a tee in the ground, rip it, and where would I hit it? Right up the gut, and play and never have to worry about that. Now, I've not played a pain-free round yet this year.
Oh.
And I hate it.
That takes away the pleasure of the game.
Yeah, the back or the elbow or whatever. So, but I'm cleared to play tomorrow.
Yeah, one segment every hour. I stand up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start doing that because you can put that microphone up and you can stand up.
And I do stretches. I do like squats.
He's got stretches for me. He's got the one where you lay on your back and you pull your knees way up by your chest, and then you roll to the right and roll to the left and roll to the right and roll to. Then another one is where you're laying on your back and you put your feet flat on the ground and you cross your legs. One leg. How do I describe that? Like this, and then push on.
Yep.
And then push.
I'm supposed to be doing that one for my hips.
And push the knee away. And I need to do those. And then I need to do the elbow one like this.
Yeah.
We talked about
He
that.
said I'd be doing that one.
So now I got to do that all the time. But I'm going to continue to do
Some of his stretches I do in the shower every morning.
Yes. What else do you do in the shower? I'd rather not know. So anyway.
I cleanse myself.
You cleanse yourself. I was just trying to do a yoga pants breasts kind of a joke because, the Power Trip Morning Show is very successful. And if we want to follow in their footsteps, we should do a lot of sexual innuendo. a lot of yoga pants and breasts, and maybe we'll start shifting in that direction. I got a complaint. It's a really good one. It was actually sent to the program director in the coroner's office, and he forwarded it to me. It's funny. Well, or maybe it's sad. And maybe there are a lot of people that agree with I think he might be an ex-listener now. But we'll take a look at that. Plus, I do want to talk. The Twins are there. This is not good. And, of course, program password. The Invitational continues. The second annual. Big one today. Lil B and Marnie will square off against Carly and the Fraud Father.
Yes.
That's at 1:30. You're on the Common Man program here on The Fan.
Back on the chain gang.
On The Fan.
Hey, Thursday, June 1st, get ready for the first ever iHeartRadio Access Day, where we give you access like never before. The biggest deals from national and local brands you love, along with awesome experiences like spending the day with Dan Patrick and the Danettes in the Man Cave. Register now to get reminders when experiences go live Thursday, June 1st. Go to iHeartRadioAccessDay.com. That's iHeartRadioAccessDay.com.
Her boyfriend too.
John Cougar Mellencamp brings us back. This is my favorite Mellencamp tune, I think.
There's a freeway.
Brings us back to programming here on The Fan.
And I'm a bad boy.
Several different ways to contact us here. First of all, you can call us 1-800-320-5326. That's that wacky Thomas Edison invention known as the telephone. 1-800-320-5326. Emails, booth@kfan.com. We also have the KFAN Talkback feature, which is kind of cool. Then you don't have to wait on hold, because generally when you call in, more often than not, you'll get a busy signal because people are clamoring to be on the air with the Common Man. But you can certainly you can use the Talkback function. If you have the iHeartRadio app, you'll see that microphone icon in the corner. Click it, 30 seconds or less to send us a message. And then there's the Brad, Sean, Bryant, KFAN text line at 64686. This was an email, but it wasn't sent to booth@kfan.com or common@kfan.com. It was sent to Chad Abbott, the program director. In other words, this listener, his name is Nick. He was going to go right to the
point.
He wasn't going to, talk to me first or talk to you. He's going right to the people in charge. Programming question, it says, I'd like to start off by letting you know that I love the radio station 100.3 FM. What I don't like is that Dan Cole, the Common Man, has his own station. Well, I only have a show, but I guess I carry the station on my back for 3 hours. Because when I'm listening to the radio station and Dan Cole's show comes on, I switch the station, because when I listen to a show, it sounds like I'm listening to a person that has pre-dementia.
I always love that one.
Let's say I do have pre-dementia, which it runs in my family. Should then I not be allowed to work and perform my craft? Is he being? It sounds like to me he's being discriminatory.
Sure.
Toward people with pre-dementia. Why would to me that's mean. It sounds like I'm listening to a person that has pre-dementia. Why, you ask? Let me tell you why. Now, no one said why, you ask, but he's assuming whoever read this chat was said, well, why? So he has no idea if somebody asked, well, he just why, you ask? Well, we didn't ask, but he's going to tell us anyways. Matter of fact, he says, let me tell you why. He always sounds very unsure of himself when he's talking or answering questions. Always, but there are some times where I'll say, like, 10 people ask me a question about a sports topic, and I'll go, I'm really not sure. I mean, not everything is black and white, day or night, left or right, good or bad. Sometimes there's a lot of gray area there, right? He always sounds very unsure of himself when he's talking or answering questions. Also, he can't remember anybody's name. I had that problem the other day. I was at church and I was thinking, what's that guy? He was born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died and was buried. He descended into hell. On the third day, he rose again from the dead and sits on the right hand of the God, the Father Almighty, and he will come to judge the quick and the dead. And I'm thinking, who's that guy's name? And I still can't remember, Tim.
Jesus.
Jesus, yes. Yeah. Jesus Christ is his name. That's right. See, sometimes I even have problems with the name. Or this was really funny. It's actually sad, really. When Deuce was younger, he goes, when are we going to get presents for Christmas? And I go, well, I don't know when. He goes, well, don't we get them on Christmas? What's the name of the guy that brings them? He wears a red suit. He has a reindeer with sleigh. Got a big white beard. Says ho, ho, ho all the time.
I always love that.
Oh, that's Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You don't even remember your producer before me, his name.
The great Davy Joe Simser. He's always asking and repeating what's his name again. Anyway, he's not very knowledgeable of sports. I'm 43 years old and somewhat pay attention to sports and highlights, and I would definitely say that a person like myself is more qualified to have his own talk show.
Huh?
Come on in, the water's warm. He says, don't get me wrong, I don't want my own radio show. Trust me, nobody wants to hear your radio show. Trust me. I know a lot about, here's what I sent him a nice, polite email back saying, sorry, Common Man doesn't do it for you, but it's like, well, I just approach sports differently. I have the esoteric approach to sports. I don't do it with it. I think what he's looking for is that typical, let's take a look at that Twins bullpen. What is hampering us now? And you won't really get that much on this radio station at all. The closest thing to that would be the Paul Allen Project, and that would be mostly Vikings related, right? You're not going to get a lot of that here. It seems like he wants that kind of that ESPN approach to sports. And then, how about this? Who is in charge of putting Dan Cole and his own radio show on the air should be embarrassed. So now he's ripping the guy he sent the email.
He's writing the letter.
So he's not going to get very good response there. Chad Abbott should be embarrassed, red-faced. He says, should be embarrassed because he can't have very good ratings. Well, Wilbur.
Huh?
They've never been better. Thank you. Anyways, just want to let you guys know that having Dan Cole in his own talk show is preventing you guys from having more listeners. No, it's not. It's increased the listenership. See, don't speak of things that you don't know. You can say you don't like the show and it's not your cup of tea, but don't be just making stuff up. You have no idea. You want me? I could show them to you. If you want to sit down sometime and have a cup of coffee, I'll show you the report card.
You think the coroner's office would let you work here for 30 years because it was just your 30-year anniversary?
30-year anniversary.
Without putting up ratings or numbers of any type?
Dan Cole is average at best in sports knowledge. Yeah, I'm the best of the lousiest. I'm average. I approach it a different way. I just have a unique take on it. That's all. It's different. And it's not for everybody, but then again, I don't try to be. And I won't listen to his show when he's on the air because I'd rather not waste my time listening to him on his show. Thank you for listening to my email. That would be reading your email, not listening, emailing. Sign Nick. And, that's not as negative as some that I get, but I wish Nick well. I hope he can find a sports talk radio show that trips your trigger, right? That you enjoy. One other text message real quick says, Common, you're a fraud. You can't play golf because of your elbow. I thought you were built different. Elliot in Iowa. I played yesterday with my elbow. I told you.
Through it.
I played through it. Most people wouldn't. You can talk about Jordan playing through when he had the flu. I'd have taken the flu for what I went through yesterday. And they talk about who's the New York Knickerbocker guy, Willis Reed, who, by the way, he only played like 4 minutes. He suited up and played, and he left. I played an entire 9 holes of golf. I didn't play. I woke up this morning, like I told you, and everything felt fine, but I needed to go to the chiropractor to try to get to the bottom of this and nip it in the bud is what I'm trying to do. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Speaking of the NBA, got a couple of notes there, a couple of Twins nuggets as well. And don't forget, Program Password Invitational. It's Lil B and Marnie against Carly and Mark Rose, and that's at 1:30 right here on The Fan.
FAN, The Fan.
This is the part of the show Nick really hates, I bet. Early one morning, the sun was shining. I was laying in bed, wondering if she'd change it all if her hair was still red. Her folks who shared our lives together sure was going to be rough. They never did like Mama's homemade dress. Papa's banquet wasn't big enough. And I was little Dylan duet for you there. Dylan with Dylan. One real quick text message regarding golf. As a matter of fact, the emailer, Matt, from the 612 says, I can't believe I'm extending the golf bit that he wanted me to insert. But can you tell us, Rubes, the difference between a scramble and a best ball? People do get confused by the two.
Yeah.
A scramble is where, let's say it's Teneby, me, PA, and Nordo playing. We'd all hit our drive. We go to the best drive, and all four of us hit from there. Then let's say the next shot, whoever hits the next best shot, we all go to that and hit from there.
Yeah.
A best ball is the four of us would play our own ball from the tee to the green and hole out, and whoever had the best score, we would use that score. So that's
the term best ball is a little confusing because it's kind of what scramble is. You're going to the best ball and playing it. So
it's that's the difference between best ball and scramble. Saw the Byron Buxton piece fixed by the Twins. Twins lose again. Bailey Ober takes it on the chin early, gives up 4 runs in the first inning. Twins go on to lose 4-1. I think we had a solo home run. Was it Garlick? I don't recall who it was, but somebody had a solo home run. We lose 4-1. First game
it was the only offense
of a 3-game set home against the San Francisco Giants. And we swept the Giants, I think, here last year because I think they were here. Maybe we were there. I know when we last played them, we were on the winning end of a sweep. We're down. They play again tonight, and maybe they play a Wednesday getaway day game. I'm not sure. But the story today was about how this is by Randy Johnson. It wasn't the gamer. It's one of those sidebar stories, a feature that says Byron Buxton finds that listening to his body keeps him in the lineup. And the whole thing is about how by playing DH, remember, you weren't here yesterday, Teneby, but apparently he had a little bit of a knee issue.
Yes.
And what was the reaction by most Twins fans? Oh, no, not again. Here it is. Knee issue. He's going to be out he's day to day. He'll miss 3 or 4 games. And the next thing we know, he'll be on the 10-day IL. And then he'll have to have reconstructive knee surgery, be out for the season. He was in the lineup again last night. And, I'm really not trying to pick on him or pick on the manager or the organization. But the basic gist of the story is we're just so proud of him for being able to know when he should play or shouldn't play. And boy, he's played but he's missed only 4 games this year. Of course, he's only playing as a DH, which part of his, and again, I wholeheartedly agree with that approach. Both Carlos Correa, in a perfect world, no. I mean, if you could come as close as you can to a guarantee that Byron could not only patrol center field and hit, that's what you would want in a perfect world, of course. But he's not proven only once in his career, and he's been around now 7, 8, 9 years. He played 142 games one year. I don't think he's ever played over 100 in any other year of his career. And he even says it, better to have me in for one game, miss one game than miss 10. But it almost seems like I'm supposed to applaud the $100 million man because he's staying healthy. Yeah, I guess, but it's and whether it's, I don't think it's his physiological makeup, if that's the right word, or if it's just bad luck with the injuries, right? Because some of it, I think, was reckless play in the outfield. We've talked about that over and over, where I appreciate his attitude of, I'm going 110% after every fly ball. And if I have to crash into a wall, I have to crash into a wall. But that's detrimental to your health and detrimental to the team. So that was part of his issue. I still don't think he knows how to run bases or slide. Do you? I really don't.
First couple games of the year, he had 2 awful slides.
Yeah, and he still
Or
does.
just, like, hurting himself.
I don't think I just think he has. I don't think he's learned the finer points of the game. He can run like a deer, but I don't think he understands the. And then I looked at the numbers. They were in this story. He served as a DH, appearing in 43 of 48 games. So he's missed 5. That's good. But are these numbers good, Tenneby? And I'm being serious. I want somebody to tell me if these are, in this day and age, this is where Nick would say, I don't know much about sports. And he's right. I don't know if these are considered quality numbers for a designated hitter or even an everyday player's out in the field. He's hitting .231, 9 home runs, 21 RBI, and 4 stolen bases. By the way, do you know that you were solely responsible? It's your biggest accomplishment in life. You now have everybody in the local media calling it RBI instead of RBIs. You were the one that wouldn't let that rest. It stuck in your craw. It was one of those things that bothered you because you are right. It's not run batted ins. It's runs batted in. And so, and that's the way they do it. Are those good numbers? I mean, I use this joke often, but it really is true. Those numbers would have you playing in AA back in the 60s or 70s. .231 batting average is 9 home runs a lot? I guess it is at this time of the year, right? He's on pace to, if that's in the first 2 months of the season, it would be, so probably on pace to have 27 home runs, maybe 30. I guess that's a decent number. RBIs would be roughly, if he's got 21, he'd be roughly maybe 70 or more. Those don't seem to be big offensive numbers for a guy that's your DH that's batting in the middle of the order most of the time.
So I'm looking at DH leaders for this season.
Okay.
Now, there's only 10 of them listed because you probably have to have enough at-bats to qualify, and there's probably a rotation of DHs at plenty of teams. Of the 10, he is 5th in OPS, which is on-base plus slugging, which is kind of people go with that more often than batting average now.
Because what is it? That's a combination of
on-base plus slugging.
On-base plus slugging.
So he's 816 there, which is 5th of the 10. Home runs, as you mentioned, he has 9. The leader, oh dang, I pressed the wrong button. The leader is 12. Yordan Alvarez and Jorge Soler each have 12. Buxton would be 5th with 9.
Okay.
Well, actually, there's more DHs when you go to home runs. I guess it was just the OPS stat. There was only 10. So he's 5th in home runs. RBI, Alvarez has 46. Buxton is tied for 7th with 21.
Stolen bases, because they're the stolen bases.
Batting average, he's 9th at 231. Alvarez is 1st at 305.
And
stolen bases, you're not going to get a lot of stolen bases from DHs.
Yeah, that's true.
Shohei Ohtani is the league leader in stolen bases with 6 for DHs. Buxton is 3rd with 4.
And it was, and Baldelli does this. Baldelli has a habit of praising his players almost unendingly. Is that a word? He never endingly. He's always praised. Was it last year he called Byron Buxton the best player on the planet? Those numbers you just read to me don't sound like anybody close to being the best player on the planet. Not even close. Matter of fact, those are numbers of an ordinary baseball player to me.
And as far as we know, it's not like he's playing through injury or something, which can happen at times.
It doesn't appear to be because he's been healthy, played 43 of 48 games. It's part of the reason this team is struggling. Correa's had an awful go of it as well. The guy that's maybe been the biggest bright spot has been the Gallo character, and he was the guy that I thought we'd be, after they announced that they'd signed Gallo, I thought we were going to be counting wins here. Gallo in 1, Gallo in 2, Gallo in 3. But the offense has really been the biggest issue. The starting pitching rotation, I think the numbers say they're like, are they like the first or second? But when you look at the starting rotation top to bottom, when you factor in all the statistics, they're like the number 1 or number 2 pitching rotation in all of Major League Baseball, which for years to me meant this is what wins games, wins divisions, wins playoff series, and maybe even wins world championships. But our bullpen, and again, we We talked about it, tend to be, if you remember with Rosen last week, I said the biggest difference between your pitching staff is the starters are really good. The bullpens are always shaky because the bullpen guys were once starters and weren't good enough to be starters. So they're in the bullpen now, which means overall, technically speaking, they're just not as good as the starting pitchers. And we saw our bullpen blew 2 games for us over the weekend at California. We lost the Friday game and the Sunday game. We had brilliant starting pitching, close games. The other starting pitching was brilliant. Our bullpen coughed up the lead and lost the 2 games. Theirs didn't. Jack's has been really bad as of late. And, I actually convinced myself that if we ever had a top-notch starting staff, we'd be one of the better teams in baseball because we've always been a fairly good hitting team. I'm not saying we've always been the best, but was it just a few short years ago, we were the Bomba squad. We had more home runs, and we hold the single-season team record for home runs in a season at like 301. That's a record that still stands. We also have the record of 0-18 in postseason play. That's a record that still stands. But the offense has really held us back. And again, the injury bug is biting again. And I was going to say I hate to beat a dead horse, but I don't. I still like to remind people that I sided with Jimmy Butler. Teneby, what do you think movies are more made of? Big Meow hitting a couple of free throws in a was that even a playoff game? Was that the play one of the playing game, or was that just a regular season?
No, it was regular season. It was like a second game back from injury.
Do you think it's made more of Jimmy Butler and the 8-seeded Miami Heat on the verge of eliminating? They've already beat the number 1 seed, about to eliminate the number 2 seed. That's what movies are made of.
Or Michael Block.
One of the two. That's what movies are made of. But the offense has just been it's been awful. And the saving grace.
I would have thought when you trade away your best hitter for average, it would affect your offense.
There's that, as Dark Star once said. And the offense has just been basically non-existent. It's been the part of the club that's hurt us the most. And maybe Correa will get going and Buxton will get going and the rest of the club will catch fire. But we're just, I think we're very fortunate that we're in such a weak division because Cleveland is not playing well. They just lost a doubleheader, I think, yesterday to, I don't recall. See, this is where Nick gets mad because I don't remember who the Guardians. At least I was aware. I think they lost a doubleheader. Is that correct? I think it is. So we hold on to
They beat the White Sox yesterday, 3-0.
Oh, they did. Maybe it was the day before. I thought they lost a doubleheader. But until the offense gets going, we're going to be in trouble. Lakers eliminated yesterday, 10-0. I don't know if you saw that. Went down to the wire, too. LeBron had a chance.
Yeah, the Guardians lost 2 to the New York Mets on Sunday, doubleheader, but they beat the White Sox, shut them out 3-0 yesterday.
What is our lead now in the division? Is it 3 or 4? It might not even be 3 or 4.
Well, yeah, the Twins have lost 5 of 7 and really haven't lost any ground. They're up 2.5 on Detroit.
Yeah. See, Detroit, right? This is an underachieving ball club. It's underachieving if you believe the preseason prognostications by the Pohlad Pocket Protectors. Lamell had them going 91 and 71. Suhan wrote recently that he predicted this team will make postseason. I think he even said they're going to win a series this year. Maybe they will. I mean, it's early. I mean, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, but I'd like to say I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm not. I'm very pessimistic right now about the direction this team is headed. Last night, LeBron and the Lakers were eliminated. They got swept. They got Zamboni'd right off the court. They lose 4 games to Dunzo, to the Joker, Jamal Murray, and the Denver Nuggets. And LeBron had an opportunity last night. They were down 2. They gave him a look at a 3. He hit they defended him very well. He threw up a shot that went off the side of the backboard. Then he got another one. He tried to drive to the hole for the tie. Great defense. I think it was Jamal Murray. They had their hands wrapped around the ball as LeBron did, and LeBron's trying to force it up. Defender wouldn't let him get the shot off. It kind of just spit out of their hands, and buzzer went off, and that was the end of the game. And LeBron did not complain about a foul because he was not fouled. It was a great defensive play. But now there are, and LeBron was brilliant last night. He finished with 40 points. He scored, if I have this correct, he scored more points in the first half of last night's game than in any half in his entire postseason career, and it's been a long postseason career. He immediately after the game, he's 38 years old. I mean, nobody beats Father Time. You could use that next time the 10 of Fitzgerald set sail, which will be this Friday. In the post-game news conference, James was asked, it's the obvious question, how much longer do you want to play? He says, we'll see what happens going forward. I don't know. I've got a lot to think about, to be honest, just for me personally going forward with the game of basketball. I've got a lot to think about. He's under contract, this is one thing that will probably sway him to stay. He's under contract for $46.9 million next year. Pretty hard to turn your back on that, even for a guy that, isn't he one of the 4 sports figures that's made $1 billion in his career? Ali, Jordan, Woods, and LeBron. I think those are the 4. I think. I could be wrong. I think those 4 made over a bit. Now, that's just obviously not just salary, but that's also in endorsement money and such like that. He says, it's all about availability for me and keeping my mind sharp and things of that nature, being present on the floor, being present in the locker room and bus rides and plane rides, things of that nature. It's challenging for sure. It was a very challenging season for me, for our ball club. And I just did what you did. I hit the wrong button. Hold on. No! For our ball club, obviously we know whatever went on early. That was when they started 2-10. It was cool. It was a pretty cool ride. He missed a month of the regular season, foot injury. And then they asked him about, the season. What if you remember, Antetokounmpo said, no, there's no such thing as failure in sports. When they asked him after they got bounced in the first round, do you feel like it was a failure? He took the reporter to task because apparently he asked the same question last year. Here's what LeBron said. He goes, I don't like to say it's a successful year because I don't play for anything besides winning championships at this point in my career. I don't get a kick out of making the conference finals appearance. I've done it a lot, and it's not fun to me to not be able to be a part of getting to the NBA finals, which makes sense, right? I mean, we talk about that tend to be in most sports, right? When you're like an all-timer, you really don't play for the dough. You're not playing for the regular. It's like Woods plays for major championships. That's what he wants to win. Yeah, is it okay to win the waste management? Yeah, I guess. Is the $1.2 million check okay? Yeah, it's okay. But they're playing for wins and championships and legacies. The idea he's being present on the floor, in the locker room, the bus rides and the plane rides and such like that. What does that even mean? What does he mean by that? Being present on the floor, being present in the locker room, bus rides and plane rides, things of that nature is challenging for sure. Does that mean that I'm like the leader of the team, and when we're on the plane and the bus and when we're doing this and that, I've got to be the guy to kind of... I'm not suggesting, you know better than I do. I've not participated in a team sport since organized team sports. I mean, I've played boot hockey and such like that and softball, but I'm talking about, real organized team sports where you're playing seriously since I was in 7th grade. How much of that makes I guess we've talked about that, having a leader. I don't, To me, that's almost taking yourself a little too seriously. Oh, I've got to worry about how I am on the plane and the bus and the locker room with the guys. It's like, really? I think don't they all at that point kind of know what they need to do and have to do to be successful? And the ones that want to don't really need somebody to kind of tell them that, or am I wrong?
The NBA specifically, I mean, you can jump right into the league at the age of, 19? Right? You only got to play 1 year of college, so they come in younger than any other sport for the most part, with a few exceptions. So, yeah, I mean, Anthony Edwards has been here, 3-4 years now, and we're still talking about him being a young player who has room to grow. And that's both on and off the court. How about John Morant? Right? It's not like he's a rookie making all these mistakes. He's been in the league a couple of years now. Still doing dumb stuff off the court.
He's got some issues. And everybody's weighed in on it. I already did
these are kids, right? I mean, the amount of stuff me and my friends did in college that were dumb and stupid.
Yeah.
Just weren't in the limelight like these guys were.
I don't think he'll be retired.
I wasn't waving guns around on video, right. But
my guess is he doesn't retire. I think that's the safe money bet, right? I'll see if Rosen wants to bet on that if he'd like to. I have a chance to win. Is it $15 tonight? Isn't that our bet? It was $15. Just $5 on the Heat. Is that the bet we made?
Is that what you guys did?
I thought it was the Heat.
I think that might make sense, yeah.
I thought it was the Heat and the Celtics.
They're going to sweep them.
Yeah. I bet he gained. I was ready to just do a straight up bet because I'm not a big odds guy, but he gave me the odds.
How about the lack of competitiveness in all these conference finals? Denver swept. Miami's up 3-0.
Boston looks like they're not even trying.
Yeah, they got destroyed in Game 3. Florida Panthers are up 3-0. Yeah. And then Vegas up 2-0 on Dallas.
Yeah. It looked like, when I watched Boston the other day, it looked like, seriously, they were just nailing it, and they just don't even care. And, I mean, in Miami tonight, I'd be stunned if Boston won. I mean, they've got talent. You don't get to the conference finals without being a really good club, but they just look like that. And I don't know how much of a leader. See, this could maybe answer the question. We're not in that locker room or at the practices with Jimmy Buckets. I don't know how much credit Jimmy Buckets gets, not just for his play. His play has been superb. I mean, I guess Joker right now would be the playoff MVP. We got to wait till, I think they have a conference finals MVP. I don't know if they do a playoff MVP as well. Right now, it'd be hard. The Joker had his 8th or 9th triple-double. Is that a record? I don't know what the record is.
Yes.
Is that the record for most?
He just passed Will Chamberlain. And he still has a NBA Finals to go. He's got another series.
Exactly. But Jimmy Butler has helped will this team to where they are. I think I said this the other day, Tennessee. He's my favorite NBA player.
Jimmy Buckets?
Yeah, I like his ad.
He's up there for me.
I know that. I'm
a Steph guy, but yeah.
I know he rubs people the wrong way. Maybe his approach is gadfly-ish. Maybe that's why I like him so much, because he is gadfly like myself. Maybe, I think Jimmy Buckets and I have a lot in common. That was preposterous, huh? I mean, I don't think his checking account's down to $65,000 like mine is, but other than that, I think we have a lot in common. Gadfly.
I will say, though, you getting the ratings you're getting right now with what you have to work with is very similar to what Butler's doing in Miami.
Wait, hold on. I like the self-deprecating humor on your part. Well, that's one of the big stories now, too, is I think it's 2 of the starters on the Heat, undrafted free agents. And you know what I think part of that is, tend to be? If you just draft, the guys that get drafted have a little bit of cockiness, and they got they almost feel like they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're owed something, right? Well, I'm owed this.
Yeah.
I was an 8th pick overall. I've got my game. It's my team. I'm taking over. No, the undrafted free agents go, I can't believe I'm in the league. You want me to do this? You want me to just play defense? Absolutely. I'll play defense. Would I like to shoot? Would I like to try to go off for 40 like Steph? Yeah, but I know that's not my role.
I like NBA paychecks.
Yeah, I like NBA paychecks. I think that's why they are thriving. And if that's Jimmy helping with that conversation, or if that's Spoelstra, the head coach, how do you say his name? Yep. Spoelstra? See, I'm asking again if that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry. I'm pre-dimensional.
Down on Main Street.
But yeah, That's why those guys are as good as they are. You don't have.
Well, then you look at Denver. Jokic was a second-round pick.
Yep.
Guess who had the pick right before them in the draft?
No, really?
Your Minnesota Timberwolves, who took Glenn Robinson's kid.
The hustlers and the losers.
Well, there's that. 534, you got a tease, please?
I do. Rudy Gobert is copying Aaron Rodgers.